New headphones?
No, I just couldn't find the in-ear, so I'm rocking the cans this week. You want to say that's what she said?
It doesn't make sense though.
We are the Incredible Critics. Incredible, not because we're great, but because our credibility, much like tuna scheduling, should seriously be in question. I am Ben Franco. This week, we are talking Stranger Things Season 3 and Spider-Man Far From Home. Joining me, as always, Frankie Fusco.
Hey, Ben.
Since Tuna is supposed to be here, but isn't yet, I guess that currently makes this...
It's the Benny and Frankie Show!
Yep.
That is by far the best music that we have on this podcast. Why could you not produce everything as well as you produce that?
Why couldn't you produce anything?
Because you do it so well.
Yeah. It's what you say every single week.
The song proves it.
Yep.
Listen, people come here for us. You know what I mean?
It's true.
And I appreciate that you say as always, but my attendance as of recently has been rough.
Yeah.
Apologize about that.
I just say as always to introduce whoever's with me.
Yeah, work has been crazy. I am well, actually, work's been crazy for a lot of people on the podcast. We'll get to that. But I'm transitioning. So right now I'm working in the greater New York City area, and I've been there for about a year and a half now, commuting.
I was going to say, but you live in the greater Philadelphia area.
Greater Philadelphia area. Finally, a position opened up in Philadelphia, and I applied for the transfer and got it. And I'm transferring to the Philadelphia area, but there is this limbo period right now where the Philadelphia person is gone. So I am now in their role, but my replacement cannot start until the beginning of August. So from like the second week in June until the beginning of August, I'm covering both the Philadelphia area and the greater New York area and slowly dying.
I was going to say, that is a large area.
It is, and it's a lot of back and forth and a lot of craziness. So I have been super busy, which has been resulting in me not being able to be here on Monday nights because Mondays were always my work from home day. So it was always really easy to get here. And now it's my pray I get home before 10 o'clock day.
I can relate.
Yeah. Oh, look who showed up. And he's again in the piano room.
That's where I've moved my computer. I'm always going to be here.
It's going to surprise me every time. Don't understand why one house needs that many pianos, but I guess only you and your parents know.
You know, maybe someday when I move out, I'll take them all with me.
Don't leave them. Leave them.
Frankie, by the way, your camera's out of focus, I think.
Oh, out of focus. I can't.
I thought that was just a bad connection for me.
You know, I don't know.
How do I fix that?
I don't know.
I'll work on that. You keep.
Yep.
What's new in your life, Ben?
As he waves to the camera. Hi, camera. Nothing really is. Oh gosh, please make it stop. Nothing really new for me. You know what was interesting? So I had to make a day trip up to New York. I was pulling a Frankie, and I made a day trip up to upstate. And I got it's about 280 miles. I got 100 miles into the trip and then realized I forgot my wallet.
Oh no.
That is the worst.
So
I got anxiety just thinking of steering.
Right. So I managed the entire day. I was surprised, but I was like, I wonder if I can do this on using Tap to Pay from my phone. And every single place that I stopped at accepted Tap to Pay. I was pretty impressed by that.
It is. I've done that quite a few times, going to work and then forgetting my wallet. And then I am saved by locations like Wawa and places like that allow Tap to Pay so I can, eat lunch or grab a drink.
Gotcha. Here, hold on one second, guys.
Yeah. We are holding. Tuna, can you play some holding music on one of those pianos?
It's a MIDI keyboard.
I didn't ask for excuses, Andrew. I just asked for some holding music, and
I mean,
you're
that one's out of
unable-
tune, but I can
you're
go
unable to
play it.
apply. You're out of tune, Andrew. You are out of tune. I am
That's
tired
fair.
of your shenanigans, Andrew. All I wanted was some holding music, and you couldn't provide it, and you have 27 pianos in your room. No bed, just 27 pianos.
This isn't my bedroom.
You and Katherine Heigl could make a whole nother movie together,
This is my music room.
and it would probably benefit both of you. You'd get to meet a girl. Katherine Heigl would have another movie.
Does it count as a music room if it's only pianos?
I have my guitar. I have a guitar hanging on the wall
That's
on
the
this
question for the
wall
music
that you
major.
can't see.
You have a guitar, but you have 6 pianos.
I have a guitar there, and I have a guitar in my guitar case, like right back here.
Okay, you have 2 guitars and 6 pianos.
Where did you learn how to math? There's clearly 4 pianos in the room. Okay. Yeah, so my week's going great, Ben. Thanks. Glad to hear yours is good.
Rocking the Wellsboro homepage hat.
Yeah, I went from work and rushed back here to half change, and then got some food real quick, and then ran to worship practice, which leads me to a similar situation to what Frankie's dealing with, where Mondays are now kind of becoming my swamped days, because I'm stepping into a more of a leadership position in my church, including our worship team. So that's requiring more time than it used to, and we're in a transition period. So that's why I've been struggling to make it on time to the podcasts lately.
I stopped listening after you said you were only half dressed. That's where everyone else stopped listening, and they're like, "Oh crap!"
I
hope
can't
we
help
have
it that
stand
you
up."
that you enjoy thinking about me half dressed, Frankie. You know what, you do you. But
well, getting off that disturbing topic,
we don't want to talk about you getting off, Frankie. Let's just move on.
Oh, you gotta cut that. You gotta.
That'll be
that's
that
gotta
won't
be
make the
cut.
final cut.
Has he even been taking notes, or has he just been? All right,
He
All I
just
see is
went
the-
on a binge of Howard Stern, and then
let's.
this is what has happened.
We're never getting on.
I
Peter's
was
podcast.
preparing
All right,
my-
hold on. Let's give it some blank airtime so Ben can cut this. Okay, well, enough about those disturbing topics. Let's talk about what's on.
Gee,
All
I
right.
wonder what we're going to talk about on What's On. It couldn't possibly be a show that's out recently.
I mean, it's got to be Stranger Things season 3. It has to be. Now, Tuna, you've seen 3 episodes.
I've seen 4 as of this
4.
afternoon.
Frankie, have you seen any?
Yeah, I saw the first 3 minutes of the first episode.
All right, so I guess it's up to me then, because I've seen every single episode of season 3. Which, I mean, you two don't have kids, and I saw it in a week. So, less than a week. What's the deal with you guys?
Was watching a
don't
lot of
underst-
other things like Spider-Man twice.
This weekend
Well,
was just the holiday week was crazy.
Yeah, work and other shows. Like I've been getting into Vampire Diaries because I'm a teenage girl.
I'm going to have to isolate.
I was just gonna say you
That-
gotta clip that, aren't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
At 100%. Yeah, that show is horrible.
You know what?
I-
Kind of addicting.
Debatable.
Fishing, so that's my excuse.
You went fishing.
Yeah.
Why didn't you download episodes of Stranger Things to watch while you're fishing?
Because the point of fishing is to not look at other stuff and just enjoy being outside.
I thought the point of fishing was to catch fish, and you could do that while watching Stranger Things.
It's definitely
Yeah,
the
but
point
then
of
you
fishing.
don't get to just enjoy nature and everything else that your friends you're hanging out with while you're fishing.
Enjoy nature while you pluck a animal out of its world from a world it doesn't even know existing. You are the example of aliens abducting.
What do you think you do every time you make fun of me, Frankie? You're taking me out of my comfortable world where everything is okay and reminding me that people like you exist.
You saved that. So tell me about Stranger Things, Ben, because here's my problem. I wanted to watch it. I did.
Yep.
And I sat down and I played the first 3 minutes and I was like, I don't have time for this because I feel like I have to binge it because all the other seasons were like needs a binge because you're gonna forget what's going on because so much happens, and if you don't watch it all right away. And then my other problem was it just started off so much of the same. Like it was like it starts off and they're in that laboratory again, and you're like, oh my god, not again. And then that's as far as I got.
But are they in that laboratory again?
I don't know. That's what it looked like.
But looks can be deceiving.
Yeah. Mm.
Like
Take-
Netflix rating scale. What do you mean?
Yeah, that's true. No, I mean so if you remember a while back, what I said about Riverdale is they never like reset back to normal. So instead, like each season just keeps getting bigger and bigger and more ridiculous. Stranger Things does not do that, and it's so good because the first couple of episodes are slow because you're resetting back to normal, right? The kids' lives aren't continually getting crazy. It's just once a year that things kind of spike and everything goes crazy. So the first couple episodes are, reestablishing relationships. You're, remembering who the characters were. You're getting, back into that world before things start to go crazy. And then things slowly become crazier and crazier. I really enjoyed it. I think that Dustin and Steve are still
Oh my
my favorite
gosh.
people ever.
Yes.
There are some wonderful moments. Dustin has just some amazing moments I'm not going to get into because of spoilers, but you guys will know when you reach the last episode, the moment I'm talking about, and it's absolutely wonderful. It
I'm
is.
looking forward to it.
I'll just say it's completely ridiculous. And as it goes on and continues, it just keeps getting better.
See, that's kind of how what I'm coming to understand with this show now is I'm in between stages of you and Frankie, because when I first started watching the first episode, like Frankie, I was like, and not even just the first 3 minutes, like I watched the full episode and I was kind of underwhelmed at first. It seemed a little formulaic in some ways, but at the same time, there were some things that were different, and I wasn't sure if I liked the things that were different or the way the direction they were taking some of the characters at first. And then with each episode, I became a little bit more accepting, like, okay, this is making a little bit more sense. I guess I understand that, but I'm not fully convinced. And as each episode's continuing to go on, by this fourth episode, I'm really actually starting to enjoy the third season quite a bit.
Yeah, it's very different than the second season. It's kind of back to being more like the first season.
The relationship drama turned me off at first because I was like, I hate this, but it's super realistic, so I do kind of love it actually.
Yeah, and they do some interesting things with it, and they play with what that would look like really well.
Mm-hmm.
The cast is just perfect. Millie Bobby Brown as 11 is wonderful.
I heard she still can't speak in full sentences.
It's true, but they play with who her character is in the dialogue really well. Like there's a moment when like one of the characters says to the other characters, and I'm probably going to butcher it, but she's like, do you know that feeling that when you're like about to go down the steepest part of a roller coaster and everybody's like, yeah. And Elle's like, no. And so like they just like play with who she is and her background really well in the dialogue. It's not, perfect. I think that the whole 80s theme is getting a little bit tired. So, I saw some articles saying, it probably should only have like maybe one more season. And I could see that being the case, but at the same time, I'm like, I want 10 seasons of Stranger Things. I want a movie. I want a spin-off.
I think I agree with that to the extent where some of the stuff that it feels like they're trying to do and push thematically are 80s just for the sake of it being 80s and nostalgic. I think it can 100%. Still be set in the 80s and have that stuff come naturally without them trying to push it on you.
That being said, it does way better than any other nostalgia-based show.
True.
So it's like, yes, there is some of that, but they're doing They're still setting the bar for how to do it. Starcourt Mall, if they don't keep that set up exactly as it is and open it to the public, then they've lost a major opportunity. Because that would be amazing, and people would flock to go there and buy stuff.
That would be cool. Frankie, what have you been watching?
We already discussed that. I've been watching Spider-Man and Vampire Diaries because, you know, I like it.
Why? How? Why?
There is like nothing on TV right now, and I'm like caught up on all the TV shows.
If only there was a show like
If
Stranger
only-
Things.
I know, and I just can't. I want to watch
There's
it.
nothing on TV.
I want to watch it. I just haven't had the strength to do it. Like I said, I do feel like I want to binge it.
It's
I
binge
binged
it.
the other
I got
season,
you.
so I want to be able to put like a day aside and just kind of watch, or a weekend aside and just watch it over the weekends. I haven't really had the time. So it's really just been kind of watching shows before I go to bed, and I don't want to watch something that is going to keep me up. So Vampire Diaries worked. It was I was like, yeah, let me just give this a shot. Why not? It's got 8 seasons. That'd be all right. And you know what? It's pretty freaking good. I recommend it.
I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
Tuna, what have you been watching?
Stranger Things is pretty much the only thing I've watched lately. It was a crazy 4th of July week and went fishing. So yeah,
Did you catch anything?
I caught some sunfish and catfish.
Nice. Okay. All right. Well,
Translation:
that.
he was actually
I was catfish.
just hanging out with his parents, and he was picking.
I was finally
goldfish out of a bowl.
messaging a girl online, and it turned out to be Frankie.
I wish I had the time.
all right. Well, let's talk more about what Frankie's been watching in our review of Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Everywhere I go, I see his face. I just really miss him.
Yeah, I miss him too. I don't think Tony would have done what he did if he didn't know that you were going to be here after he was gone.
You gonna be the next Iron Man now?
Well, no, I don't have time. I'm too busy doing your job.
Oh.
I'm kidding. Look, keep up the good work because I am going on vacation.
That is from the trailer for Spider-Man: Homecoming. Not Homecoming, Far From Home. Why do they do that? Why? I don't understand. Frankie has seen it. Tuna and I have not, but I, at least read up something about it. But let us know Frankie, what are your thoughts on Spider-Man: Far From Home?
Listen, it was spoiler-free, a very good movie. You should go see it. Was it my favorite Spider-Man movie, which some people were calling it the best Spider-Man movie ever? I don't know. I don't think so. I'd have to watch them all back to back again and kind of give you a better rating because it's been a while since I've seen this on them.
Potentially a close contender then, though.
Definitely a close contender. The Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire is a phenomenal movie, and Into the Spider-Verse is a phenomenal movie. And I also really enjoyed Spider-Man: Homecoming. So I'm not quite sure. I think those are definitely the top 4, and it's up there. It could be top 1 or 2. But it's a fun movie. It's a good end to the third phase and start to the 4th phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Is it the end to the 3rd phase?
I mean, I don't really know what is classified as the end, but I think so.
Here's what I mean by that.
Without getting too into spoiler details, I mean, yeah, I think it's the end of the 3rd phase.
But to me, Avengers Endgame felt like the end. Like it's this wonderful climactic bookmark to the end of the phase and to the end of that storyline.
Okay.
And it seemed like they were just trying to sell tickets by saying that this was the end.
Oh,
of the
well,
story.
listen, it's Marvel. They don't need help selling tickets. I mean, the box office numbers show that. So really what it is it's a prologue. Is that a better explanation? I would think that's probably better because you kind of get a better idea of what's happened to, normal people.
Sure.
Because, the only superhero really in this movie is Spider-Man. And
You
so
meant epilogue.
I did mean epilogue, not prologue. Thank you.
Okay. Yep. I had to Google it first just to be sure. I didn't want to call you out if I was wrong.
But it's a very good epilogue. It kind of just ties a little pretty bow on the end of the story, and also opens up to the next phase that's coming. You kind of get a hint and a glimpse of what's to come, and it's a Spider-Man movie. It's great. This is my favorite Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire might be the best Spider-Man movie, but this is my favorite Spider-Man. Tom Holland does an amazing job.
He's wonderful.
He is. The best part about these movies is his American accent.
It's so good.
It's spot on. And when you hear him talk in English, you're like, oh wow, you have that adorable English accent. How do you make this American one come out and still be adorable? But he does. And Zendaya as MJ, I absolutely love. Zendaya. I don't know, man. She's like 15.
Get on my level, bro.
Yeah, seriously, I'm not the date of my tween pop stars, but actually I think she's like in her 20s and a model, not a pop star, but whatever. She's a Disney star, isn't she?
She was a Disney star, yeah.
Yeah. So not she does a great job. I really like her. I wasn't sure how I felt at first because they changed her character, a lot. She's darker, and MJ was always nerdy, so I guess she's still nerdy, but she just has a very dark sense of humor and kind of bleak, and that's not really in a lot of the MJ comics. So
okay, so you're saying they changed her in the movies as opposed to the comics,
right?
Not between movies. Okay,
yeah. Let alone being not a white redheaded girl, but also just personality wise, they kind of changed her.
I gotcha.
Which was different. So I wasn't sure how it would go. The first movie, I thought she was awesome, but she's not as in it as much as she is in this movie. This movie, there's a lot of her and a lot of her relationship with Peter, and it's a great storyline. Like I think the script's well written. There is a few parts about it I dislike. There's some plot holes, as there are in all Marvel movies, that you're just kind of like, that doesn't really make sense. They do a lot of teasing about themselves. And it's kind of like, are you making fun of yourself because we're going to make fun of that? Or are you making fun of yourself because you also realize that you're being dumb? That being said, trying to give it away without any kind of spoilers, they kind of talk about these, that people in their universe will believe anything. Like you just, make something up and it's believable now after everything that's happened. And it's kind of like, unless someone has a cape and a magic powers, no one takes them seriously. So
gotcha.
That's it's kind of it's definitely an interesting story, but I think it's very well written at parts. And Jake Gyllenhaal is Jake Gyllenhaal. He's amazing. He's an amazing actor.
I think Jake Gyllenhaal is drastically underrated as an actor.
I don't know that he's underrated. I think everyone knows how great he is.
I think as great as people think he is, he's still underrated. He is so good.
He really is. And he does it in this movie too. He does a great job bringing to life a character that is, in all honesty, kind of annoying in the comic books. In all of his appearances, yeah, Mysterio is a very kind of stupid character, and it's proven by his fishbowl on his head. So,
yeah, I mean, he's been nominated for an Academy Award, but he's never won, and that's what I'm saying. Is like he's so good. Watch Zodiac and then watch Nightcrawler and then try to tell me that he's not a phenomenal actor. So,
Nightcrawler is an amazing movie.
So, where would you say, just roughly, does Spider-Man: Far From Home rank in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Is it
goodness?
Top 20%.
I should have been prepared for this question. I'm
top
gonna
20,
say
top 30,
yeah,
40.
I'm gonna say.
So top 20 would be about like 4 to 5 movies.
Thanks for doing that math for me.
I got you.
I'm gonna say how many Marvel movies are there now? 28?
22.
22, is that it? Okay. So yeah, I'd say top 10.
Okay.
Top 10. Rough guessing, just because I'd have to really sit and look at the whole list.
You'd have to see it a third or fourth time.
Yeah, I have to see. Listen, I saw it twice, which is more than I've done for some Marvel movies in theaters. But no, I just mean I'd have to look at the whole list. I'm sure I'm not thinking of something, but because I want to say top 6, but I'm going to say top 10 and be safe.
Okay. All right, Tuna. Any questions before we hop into spoilers?
I'm all set, man. Go for
Okay.
it.
Are you gonna stay on? Or are you gonna mute it?
I'm gonna mute it.
Okay. All right. I'll try to get you back on when we're done.
All right.
All right, let's talk. Whoa.
Like such as and
Still works. Let's talk spoilers for Spider-Man Far From Home. Where do you want to start? Because
There's two big spoilers, and we'll give them away, and we'll talk about them. And they're all after the movie.
yeah,
So,
I was gonna say most
yeah.
spoiler reviews are starting with the end credits.
The end credits start. So the way the movie ends is you have Spider-Man and MJ, and he meets her up for a date in the city, and he basically swings her around New York City, and she hates it. And then he puts her down. He goes to go away, and he hops up on a light post in this little Spidey stance, and on the TV screen, is a famous voice that we know and we've seen before.
None other than J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons. Thank you. Glad you said that because I really couldn't remember his name off the top of my head.
I got you.
I was like, but I was close because I wanted to say J.K. Rowling. I was like, that is
you
not
have to think through. Okay, which one's the author? Which one's the actor?
So he is there playing his role as the head of the Daily Bugle, except it's not the Daily. I don't know if it's. I forget if it's the Daily Bugle and the
Daily Bugle. Well, this is the dailybugle.net, but yeah,
right,
J. Jonah
dailybugle.net, which is kind of funny. It's kind of a throw into the video game that just came out last year because he plays a radio announcer. He's and he basically just hates Spider-Man, and pretty much what happens in that is they reveal Mysterio, who, spoiler, it becomes the bad guy if you didn't read any comic books.
Okay, so can we just pause there?
Yeah.
Because I just assumed he was the bad guy since it was the new face in the trailers. I didn't know he was a good guy.
Yeah, so the trailers kind of make it seem like he is the bad guy, which he is. But when you watch the movie, if you don't know who Mysterio is, I was with somebody who didn't, and they were kind of like, oh, I didn't see that twist coming that he was the bad guy, because he starts off as a good guy. So his whole storyline is pretty much like, oh, I'm from another world, another Earth, and I came here to help save everything because there's the elementals and they're going to destroy your planet. And pretty much he used to work for Tony Stark. He got fired from Tony Stark because Tony Stark thought he was crazy. The augmented reality barf that Tony Stark invented that makes him younger in that Captain Civil War movie. And he invented that. And then Tony Stark named it barf and insulted him, and then he fired him. And so he was just kind of had a vendetta. So he's using that augmented reality to create these monsters with drones that are actually doing the damage, and then make him in this superhero in quotation marks with this augmented reality. So he's really just controlling it from, he has a whole team, like someone doing special effects, someone doing weapons, someone doing, sound effects and things like that.
Is that true to the comic, or was he good in the comic?
No, it is true. Actually, they do a really good job of keeping things true to the comic. There's definitely differences. The elementals aren't in the comics. Those are actually real Spider-Man villains that they kind of turn into like this augmented. But Mysterio in the comics is like this rich guy who kind of uses science and special effects to like make people think he's a superhero, and he's not really.
Gotcha.
There's also a couple different Mysterios, and also depends on which Spider-Man comic book you're reading or which comic book you're reading. He's in a few different. I'm pretty sure he's in a couple other things besides Spider-Man.
So J.K. Simmons comes in.
J.K. Simmons
shows this footage of Mysterio.
And basically saying Spider-Man is Peter Parker, and then they show a picture of Peter Parker, and so they revealed his identity. Which the whole point, they killed it through the movie and beating home the fact that if anyone finds out who he really is, everyone who knows him is in danger. And so at this point, his Aunt May knows, MJ knows, and his roommate, his buddy knows.
But isn't that kind of like...
Well, to this point in the Marvel Universe, he's really the only Avenger who people don't know what their real identity is.
Yeah, but all the other Avengers are revealed, and all of the people that they know are more
Yeah,
or
but
less fine.
he's also a teenage kid, and he's responsible for. Now, if you remember in the end credits of the first movie, which I don't even know if you ever saw,
I did.
there is there's a prison scene, and at the end of it, the one guy says to the main bad guy in the first movie, like, "I heard you know who Spider-Man is. Like, let me know who he is." I think it's Scorpion, and pretty much they just want to go after whoever he loves because he's put so many people in jail.
Gotcha.
The other big spoiler is at the end credits, you find out that Samuel L. Jackson and the Robin from How I Met Your Mother are
Colby Smulders.
They're in this whole movie, but they're really not them. They're the Skrull.
Right.
The shapeshifters. But not for any bad reason. Apparently, what's his name? Samuel L. Jackson's in outer space working on SWORD, which is like the space something defense. This is why Tim needs to be here.
Yeah, right.
He would know what the acronyms all stand for, but pretty much just like Earth's space defense, their defense system for aliens and things like that. So, and he looks like he's working with a bunch of other aliens on it, and so that's probably in the start phase 4. So you might see a lot more.
Which people were saying that it was a really great way of explaining why Samuel L. Jackson's character was acting how he was, because I read some people that were saying that like he's acting like really out of place the whole movie, not acting like his character. So then to have this big reveal that indeed it wasn't his character was a really clever way of explaining all of that.
Yeah, you know what? The first time I watched the movie, I didn't catch it. I just thought he was a little more of a jerk than normal, like almost an exaggerated jerk. And then the second time I watched it, knowing what was going on, I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, you can kind of see it.
Yeah. He's like overplaying his character. Nick Fury.
So going back to the mid-credit scene, what do you think about this introduction of J.K. Simmons? Because J.K. Simmons was in the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man films as this character, J. Jonah Jameson. So it kind of blends those two universes together in an interesting way and connects those two sets of movies. So
it does. I don't think it means anything other than, I mean, here's the thing. People were saying it could mean the multiverse, which they joked about in this movie. They made a joke because basically, why am I drawing a blank in his name? Jake Gyllenhaal said that my dog's tail. Jake Gyllenhaal said that he was from another Earth, and Peter Parker's like, oh my God, so the multiverse is real. Like, I didn't think this was real, and and geeks out over it. And so they kind of joke about it, but then you find out Jake Gyllenhaal was just lying about everything. So it's kind of like, nope, multiverse isn't real. But J.K. Simmons,
I mean,
Joe James could happen, but it also, I think it's just he's born to play that role. He did such a good job at it in the original Spider-Man. He looks like kind of like Jean-Luc Picard. And Patrick Stewart. You know what I mean? Like Patrick Stewart was meant to play Jean-Luc Picard, and I didn't mean that. I'm sorry. Patrick Stewart was meant to play Professor X, is where I was trying to go with that. I got confused.
Yeah, okay. All right.
You knew what I meant though, right?
I didn't. No.
Oh, whatever. Patrick
tracking.
Stewart was meant to play Professor X. He looks just like Professor X, always has. You'd see him on Star Trek and be like, hey, he looks like the guy in like X-Men comics.
Listen, I'll just say this, that if they tried to do the multiverse thing, like because Into the Spider-Verse is very much about the multiverse, right? Right. So if they went that direction and ultimately had a movie where you brought back Tobey Maguire, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tobey Maguire, Mark Zuckerberg's friend from Social Network, and Tom Holland as Spider-Man all in one movie, even if it was just cameos, that would completely wipe away all the crap that anybody ever gave them for having 3 Spider-Man different series. Because people, when they came out with the Tom Holland Superman, it was like, really? Another Spider-Man reboot? Really? Do we really need one of these? We just had one reboot.
Yeah, but then we
saw it
and we were like, "Yep, yes, we do." So the reason why I love these Spider-Man, movies is because they take place in high school, and that is the Spider-Man that I know and love. Like from the comics
sure.
growing up, like he's a high school kid, and all the movies thus far, up to this point, were just he's in high school for a hot second, and then the next scene he's in college or an adult, and it's not as fun anymore. Like he doesn't have those wisecracks and things like that.
Oh no, 100%. I'm not saying that those are better or superior Spider-Man films. I'm just saying if this, even if it's just a joke part of the mid-credit scene, if it led to the creation of the multiverse and they had all of the Spider-Men in one film, I'd be completely okay with the fact that they've rebooted the series 3 times. Like that in and of itself would make the other Spider-Man films that much better. And I think that'd be a genius way to go, personally. It would take a ridiculous amount of money to make it happen, but I think it'd be genius.
Yeah, well, and they could do it. I mean, they did it with the cartoons. I don't know if they're going to do it again with an actual live action version, but they could do anything. They can go anywhere. They have
honestly just the contract.
Tom Holland for another movie. So
the storyline isn't the difficult part. It's the contracts. They have to get those other guys on board for whatever price those guys are going to charge. And my guess is that Tobey Maguire is not going to come cheap.
No, well, I mean, because he hasn't had a good movie in forever, so maybe he will.
Yeah, but he knows that he'd be the linchpin to that whole deal. So he could just say, like, no, I want a ridiculous amount of money for, 2 days worth of work.
I mean, it's doing well enough. They could give him a ridiculous amount of money.
I mean,
it's already at $600 million worldwide.
That's fair, yeah.
For a week, the day this comes out. So,
yeah, no, it's doing well in the box office. So,
who has it as number 2 on their movie wager? This guy.
I still think.
Also this guy.
Yeah,
you're in dead last, Andrew. So don't even want to hear it. I have Rocket Man at 6, and you're at dead last.
Well, that's because I threw Aladdin away, which was not smart.
You and Tim bring it up. A Rocket Man at 6 was a mistake. I didn't mean to put that there. Dark Phoenix, that was on me. I really thought that was going to do better, and it did not.
All of us, except for Tim, our biggest mistake, if you look at the summer movie wager, is not putting Aladdin at number 2 where it currently sits. But I'm still hopeful Spider-Man Homecoming is going to beat it out, and The Lion King.
Spider-Man Far From Home?
Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah, he's been messing him up all night long.
Yeah,
we called it Superman earlier.
Spider-Man Homecoming.
Ben just doesn't even care about these superhero movies.
All of these superhero movies.
Really? Yeah. Really? Yeah. Really? Yeah.
Oh, I did want to say there's a fun little tidbit, which is total coincidence, but there's a scene in Spider-Man where he gets hit by a train and wakes up in another country. And he wakes up in a jail cell in the Netherlands. And the guys in the jail cell with him are all wearing Netherlands soccer jerseys. And it came out the same weekend as the women USA team played the Netherlands. So it was
more importantly, beating the Netherlands.
Great game, but a little very coincidental, but pretty funny.
2-0, as they say. Well, Tuna, where can people connect with us and let us know what they think of Stranger Things Season 3 and Spider-Man Homecoming Far From Home?
They can find us on Facebook.com/IncredibleCritics, on Twitter at 3CriticsPod, Instagram at Incredible Critics, and be sure to find us on iTunes and leave a review, leave a note for us, rate us, let us know what you thought.
Yes, if you could, because nobody leaves us reviews, because nobody listens.
If you don't mind
to the show. Until next week, we are the Incredible Critics. And in case you didn't catch on, I'm not doing the music because that stupid compressor acts all stupid. All right, good job, fellas.
Oh, when you tell us to go on hold for a minute, that's what you should put. My conversation with Tunas, which should be at the after credits. So you missed it. It's pretty funny.
I can't wait.
All right, I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, see you,
Have a good one, guys.